Through to a World Cup semi-final. What got you there today?
Character, perseverance. Even when things weren't working, we found a way to win the game again. Whether it's in 90, 120, we'll get everything we've got. You saw that there. Whoever was ready to come on came on and smashed it. So yeah, so proud of this team once again and a World Cup semi-final.
Was it a victory in many senses for the squad, for the depth?
Definitely, it was a victory for everyone. I keep saying it. This is. Whole country wins, everyone who's behind us, all the players that are here, staff, credit to everyone. It's a huge shift by everyone.
You've scored great goals for England, but that tap-in from a couple of yards, does it feel as good as any in its way?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's an important goal. It's put us through to the semi-final. It has to be right up there.
Morgan had the shot. Morgan took that shot.
Yeah, I told him to keep going because I knew he was going to make an impact in the game, and you know, I've scored loads of those kind of goals, to be fair. The keeper had a worldie, but he was unlucky with that one, the way it popped up, and I was just lucky to be there to put it in.
And those players new to this, Elliot Anderson today, Dan Burn, Jed Spence, new to this stage, if you like. How do you sum up what they contributed?
Warriors, didn't look like they were new to it. You know, all three of them and whoever else came on, just top level. Well, there's one thing to, you know, have quality, which all the lads in this group do, but you don't know how much mentality and how much heart they've got until we're in a situation like that, and they've shown themselves.
Thank you. The manager's actually not very happy. He said he was disappointed with the performance. There could have been more in many different ways.
Yeah, well, whatever.
Yeah, I think he obviously believes there could be more from the team.
Yeah, it's difficult out there. It's difficult. It's a tough shift. All the players are putting a very tough shift. So my thoughts and appreciation goes to the players who's out there who put in a great shift yet again.
Look around at these fans. 60 years of hurt. You're on your way to your first World Cup semi-final. Does this feel like the year?
Game by game. Next is Argentina or Switzerland. We approach it with the same mentality as we approached all these games, and we'll see what can happen. Well done. Thank you very much.
Well, for the second time in the knockout stage of this World Cup, England have come from a goal down to win 2-1. Jude Bellingham got both. He's now got 6 in the race from the golden boot. David Beckham enjoyed it. Harry Kane has got 6. The mistake from the goalkeeper allowed Bellingham to smuggle in the winner. They enjoyed it in the early hours in Manchester and in Sheffield as well. England will play Argentina or Switzerland on Wednesday in Atlanta at 8 o'clock in their fourth semi-final. Dusk here over the East River, looking towards them, and from our Brooklyn studio, England awaiting Argentina and Switzerland, which will be very soon for a team. France against Spain in the other semi. Let's head back to Miami. We'll get the thoughts of Karen Carney and Sarah Hunt.
Thanks, Bruce. Well, let me tell you, the atmosphere a few moments ago in here was absolutely sensational. We had the whole team in the right place for our cause as well, down here in front of the supporters, singing Wonderwall, Hey Jude as well, and seeing up close just what it meant to these players, how emotional they got about it. I mean, just goosebumps.
No, absolutely. And also, we were right by the bench when the whistle went, and I now understand why there was a certain reaction from the bench when you listen to Thomas Tuchel's interview, because it felt different to other games that we've been pitched. There was a different reaction. It felt like we've got over the line here, and it didn't really... This was a big moment, and I didn't understand it until I heard his interview, because I thought this was a good performance from England. We got through, but he was obviously not happy, and that was reflective in the kind of reaction of the bench at the end of the game.
Well, let's talk about Jude, because you have to, right? 6 goals for him now in this tournament, the same as Harry Kane, and this is the first time in World Cup history that a nation has had 2 players on 6 goals or more. He really is a midfielder, but has the spirit or the heart of a striker. There's something almost inevitable about him.
He's the heart of a winner, and I always have a soft spot for people from Birmingham, so I'm happy about that. But look, he's carried us at times. I thought he was quite quiet before his goal. I was thinking, how do we get him in the moment? How do we get him involved? Because I thought Norway blocked him out in the first half. First 20 minutes, it's quite narrow to get the ball to him, and then all of a sudden, we speak about moments in football, and he came up. He just got his goal, and then the second one as well. He talked about how he kind of scores a lot of those goals, but the players, they react. Roy speaks about his timing. It's second to none. He reads things, he senses things, and he makes the runs in the game, actually, where other players don't play it to him, so he can actually get more. But he was phenomenal today. He's carrying us, and we just have to keep making sure he's fit and healthy and giving him the ball and confidence.
And I think that really leads rather nicely into what you were talking to me about watching the game. Tuchel's in-game management, how intelligently he was reading the game, what changes needed to take place. Reece James coming in, meaning that Jude could actually go a bit more up the pitch, and essentially that's what led to his goal, right?
I think the managers at this level, they're defined by their team talks in these breaks, these hydration breaks and half-time and the substitutions. And to be fair to Thomas Tuchel, as he mentioned, the game he was struggling. So when you're making those substitutions, whether it's positions of players and they can adjust, Reece James played it right back as well. You know, he has to make those decisions, and tonight he made all the right ones. Going to a back five, not too early, but putting Dan Burn in. And the crowd, when he won that header right at the end, Dan Burn, when he came through and just went bosh and sent it through, it was incredible. And those are the moments. So, look, I'm kind of with Roy. I think that was this is our level, I think, to a degree, when we play a team that match us, that have got the physicality, that are European and technical. But, you know, we're getting through, and I'm okay with that. And we keep going and we keep going and we build a momentum, and we have Argentina and Switzerland potentially next.
Just a quick thought then about Erling Haaland, because he was pretty much anonymous tonight. Do you think that was down to the central defenders being able to actually take him out of the game? Was it down to the build-up not being provided, the service not being provided rather for him, or was it something else?
We would be having a very different conversation now if Sorloth played Haaland through. I think that would have been 2-0, and that would be Haaland's not in the game and he gets his one moment, boom, and we would probably be out. So thankfully, I think Norway didn't give him the opportunities. I found it strange that he came off. Maybe he was injured when you needed a goal scorer. But credit to our centre-backs. They kept him quiet as possible. But I think it was a team performance that really nullified him today and nullified the service into him. So credit goes to the team and what Jude Bellingham said. Those players out there gave everything tonight.
They certainly did, and they have something to cheer about, of course, as they head into the semi-finals. And let me tell you, everybody else here supporting England in Miami is going to have quite a long and fun night ahead of them. So enjoy what's the rest of the day, obviously, with the next match. And back to you guys.
Sure, for all the England fans. And yes, if only Sorloth had played Haaland in, but that's not England's problem. Let's have a look at the winning goal. And Bukayo Saka picking it up on the right-hand side. And actually looked bright, didn't he, Saka, when he came on in?
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Worries maybe about his fitness.
Because we needed that. We needed a little bit of better service from the right-hand side. Unfortunately, didn't happen for Noni. But, like, again, you know, once this shot comes in, if you just watch Jude's movement here, he goes left, then inside on the right there. And that's just magnificent. That's just...
You'd be proud of that movement, wouldn't you, as a striker?
He actually said, you know, he was lucky to be in that position. Yeah. But he's told Morgan Rogers to make sure you get your shot in. But look at him. That's not luck. That's him smelling it, seeing it.
But it's worth gambling here because the rewards are a goal.
Yeah.
I'm amazed that other players don't do it. Maybe there's a bit of laziness, maybe there's not awareness. But his reactions from the strike, because you are thinking, most everyone's thinking, the goalkeeper's got it. That's the problem, particularly for the defenders. But like Gary's mentioned, when you're being coached as a young kid, you're told constantly, follow the ball back in.
And the same with them goalkeepers. Them goalkeepers are told at this level, if you drop that, someone's scoring.
It's that little double movement that's always going to do a defender in those moments whereby you've not got a lot of time to react, where he just goes there and then he just cuts across him. And I'm done. I'm definitely done there. He's done me because I'm following that run that he's first made. All of a sudden, he's gone there. Absolutely exceptional movement.
You've got to believe he does that a lot of times, but of course, a lot of times the goalkeeper saves it and it's not even mentioned. So it's right, you've got to gamble.
And there might have been once early in your career where you didn't follow it in and the goalkeeper did spill it, and then you say to yourself, I'm going to follow it in every single time now because the time I don't is when he spills it.
Yeah, I can't remember many times.
Maybe when you were 12.
But the thing is, it's the reason why you do follow it in, because you've been told. It's that one time you don't follow it in is the one time the goalie spills it.
Didn't at Old Trafford, though, did you?
Well, I didn't. Shut your mouth, girl.
Let's have a look at the equaliser. And I know it's very early in the morning back home, but please don't fall for the conspiracy theory that the ball hit the zip wire, because it didn't. FIFA have told us it didn't. FIFA having used something called connected ball technology. I'm really reading this out, aren't I? And there was no sensor triggered. So apparently they were really unhappy, the Norwegians, and said that it did hit the wire. If you actually follow the trajectory of the ball there, you can see it doesn't change.
I would believe the Norwegians over FIFA, personally.
They were very unhappy, but they say there was no trigger, and look, you can see in England. And obviously they did check that immediately. It's a beautiful weighted pass from Anthony Gordon.
Oh, fabulous.
Yes.
Very simple, very effective. He had a pace of pass, and again, Belly, his first touch sets him up, takes it away from the defenders. And you're looking at the defenders, you're still thinking, they're going to get him, but he's in control of the situation. We're talking about timing, biding your time. He appreciates, obviously, he's not putting bombing in the box, he's just waiting. It's that first touch, and then the acceleration, and then the finish with his left foot.
Just
and again,
over
the keeper hasn't
leg.
played much. Again,
over the keeper's leg.
Yeah.
You could get into the box too soon on that situation.
Yeah, of course, but that goes back to the time, and a lot of players maybe get in there too early and you're easy to mark. So he's got that. He's obviously in a good place. His confidence is sky high. So when even it comes to him, he's thinking, I'm getting a shot away here, and nobody's going to stop him.
The quality of Gordon's pass into his right pace, as his touch takes him away. And obviously the defender doesn't want to touch him. The defender doesn't want to touch him.
The good thing, but when the pace of the pass is as fast that it's almost easier to control.
Yeah.
When it's a bit slow and you're waiting, obviously players are going to get you. But when it's zipped in like that, it's almost easier to control it.
And he knows before he gets to it what he's going to do.
Yeah, of course.
When it comes in at that pace.
He knows exactly what he's doing. Unfortunately, the defenders didn't have a clue what they were doing.
Absolutely. OK, we'll take a break. When we come back, we will hear from Harry Kane before we switch.
Kane, he was
absolute world-class goal. I don't think either team has reached their peak, and I don't think there's any favourite really in the game. I think England wouldn't be worried about watching that, and I don't think Argentina would probably have a lot to worry about if they've seen the way England play. But the one thing I would say is these guys have hung in there in really difficult moments, and every time, Jules, they keep coming through. That's a really good sign. So I think confidence is growing. They know they can play better, but when you've got world-class players like Harry Kane and Jude Bellingham, Jules, you got a chance without question. I think it's 50-50. I don't think you can call it.
England have never faced Messi.
Yeah, first time. It's always a first time for everything, you know. So yeah, it's going to be an absolutely brilliant semi-final. No, these two teams that I'm looking at this way, you know, they both haven't reached their peak, and they both want to reach the peak if they want to win world champions. You know, if Messi and Argentina want to repeat it, or England want to bring it home, you know, so they need both to level up. But I agree with Owen in everything that he says. I think both national teams are, like, let's call it equal, you know, with very good stars. Try to peak over there, playing good as a team, but better in individuality. So I think it's going to be an amazing clash.
Do you know what? I think England have one advantage, is a little bit of athleticism. I think the one thing this Argentina team lacks is a little bit of speed. You know, they play the four central midfield players quite narrow. And I think England have a little bit more speed. And I think Jude Bellingham is a difficult matchup for a lot of these Argentina midfield players. So, Jules, let's see what happens.
How pleased will England be that Argentina went to extra time as well tonight?
I think they're going to be pleased, of course, because you want to find similarities, you know, and let's call it like fair situations. You know, they both went to extra time, but yeah, it's going to be an amazing semi-final.
England beat Argentina at the World Cup in 2002. Owen Hargreaves played in that England team. How do they do it, Owen? You know the secret.
Tell us.
It was David Beckham penalty, wasn't it? Hey, we'll take anything, Jules. Take a penalty, take a free kick. But again, I think this tournament's been about the stars, you know, and I think they've come to the biggest occasion. Feels like it's Jude Bellingham's World Cup for whatever reason. And I just think every time something big happens for England, it's Jude. And I just think Jude, I think he's got the key to the safe. And, you know, let long may it continue.
Guys, thank you very much. We cannot wait. The semi-finals begin on...
Full of people watching the end of the Argentina game. And now, as you can hear, the fans of both teams starting to make their way down Ocean Drive. But my goodness, England didn't make it easy, did they? As we thought they might. We talked about what the effect of the game in Mexico would have. And I don't know if you thought this, looking at the game, but it definitely seemed like they were running on half empty at times. And that period of the game that Norway took control early in the second half, at that point, I thought we were in big trouble. I thought there was only going to be one winner. But again, credit Mr. Tuchel and the way he turned it around, and the subs made a huge impact. And, of course, Mr. Jude Bellingham, what can you say? A genuine superstar who is dragging England towards the final as we speak at the moment.
We'll talk about Jude a little bit later on. Let's just talk about the game overall, Craig. Talk about ebbs and flows.
Yeah, but to go back to that point about England being tired after the game at altitude with 10 men for the bulk of the second half, and how much work rate they had to put in, how that affected them. And I know Norway took the lead, but Norway gave England 30 minutes of rest.
Mm-hmm. Because that opening period, they just sat back, didn't they? They didn't want anything
sat
to do with
back, unlike they did against Brazil, where they controlled the tempo of the game. They did not against England. And so that first 30 minutes, really, England didn't really have to exert themselves. They didn't really do anything, England, but they just kept possession and they controlled the tempo, which was perfect for them. And I was like, if I was Norway, I think I'd have been wanting to ask the question of, you know, how far can this England team go in terms of their energy? Not giving them a breathing space pretty much up to the bulk of half-time. That was a surprise. And when Norway got on the front foot and started pressing in the last 10 minutes or so, England struggled. And then they struggled in the second half. So that was a weird tactic. But again, to Adrian's point, the substitutions were excellent.
Yeah.
Jude Spence was superb when he came on. Yeah. He's so versatile. His pace is unbelievable. Reece James when he's fit, and that's a problem. We know he's a terrific footballer. Morgan Rogers came on, had an influence, obviously, the strike, which was not good goalkeeping for Jude Bellingham second. So there was so much coming off the bench for England. And once again, this English side, when needed, showed that they've got a lot of guts and a lot of fight and a bit of quality as well.
I try to make it clear on what I'm going to say in a way that I think what you're saying and the explanation of why Norway allow England to play for 30 minutes at the beginning of the game, getting the possession of the ball and not pushing them, is because I think the Norwegian didn't put the English in the equation of the hit that they were having in Miami. They just thought about themselves and say, oh, if we rush into that game, we're not going to last long.
Right.
And we're going to talk about somebody who left the field, earlier in the game.
Yeah, but if they're not going to last long, they're going to last longer than the English.
Yeah, but they didn't. It's why I think they didn't think about the English. They thought about themselves, and only if we go too far, if we go too fast, and we go push the opponent, we're gonna struggle at the end. But didn't think that the others, they would have struggled even more. And that's why they lost. Tactically, they were wrong, absolutely wrong, allowing, as you said, England to just keep the position of the ball. When they press, and it was said by, I think, Odegaard, who pushed everybody to go a little bit forward, for 10 minutes, the England didn't exist, and it's when Norway scored. It's a pity that they conceded that goal just before half-time for them. But it wasn't a wrong tactic. I don't know if it was put by the coach or decided by the players themselves, but that was wrong from the beginning until the end.
I mean, I have to say I was disappointed by England from start to finish, and they won with the depth in their squad and the bench and Tuchel changes and character again, but with the ball, we didn't see Kane. Bellingham had an impact on the 2 goals, but that was it.
Rice was ill.
Rice was clearly not fit to start. Yeah. I don't understand why you start him. Madueke, it's only because Saka is not fit. Madueke was poor. Gordon, on that controversial first goal, he gives the ball to Bellingham, and Bellingham has still a lot of work to do. That's not really an assist. And I don't know, there's something that is not clicking for them offensively in this team with the ball. And again, if they want to win this World Cup, and it's another semi-final after 2018, it's only the 3rd semi-final in their history, after 66 as well, okay, great. It's a good achievement in itself. They will have to step up massively the game. Not so much for Argentina in the semis, but if they go through that, whoever they face, if they play in the final against Spain and France, this is not good enough.
But that's going back to your point about England. That begs the question then, if you're a Norwegian, you've made history, first time in a quarter-final ever.
Yeah, absolutely.
You may never have a better chance.
Yeah, you're right.
Against an England side that's got good players, but they haven't played well.
True, but they're a young team, Craig. And I think that today they paid to learn. And I know it's harsh and it's cruel for them because they will have a lot of regrets tonight, rewatching the game, Solbakken, the players. But they were too naive at times. And when they were on top, they didn't capitalize. And when they were under pressure, one mistake by the goalkeeper is a second goal, and after that,
but again, Jules, if the coach, even if they're young, the coach says, guys, you're going to jump at their throats, from the beginning, and we'll see what's going to happen. Because I tell you, they're still fighting against the tightness that they got against Mexico. Sure. So go for it, and there would have been a different ending for me. That would be different. You will have the chance to change some players as well. But I think the coach should have said something, or to have done something different.
But when Adrian was on after the game in the Azteca, we talked to him, we singled out a player, and sometimes you shouldn't really when it's a team performance like that, but we're kind of singling out a player again. It's the same guy, and Jude Bellingham, who has just been...
Who seems to relish these games, relishes being the man in these big matches. His record in these big tournaments is, you can't compare it to any of it. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's the work rate, it's the goals, it's the taking the ball in tight situations and relieving the pressure. He's doing what a lot of the England players are not doing. He has the odd time, but he's not coughing the ball up every time he gets it. He really has been a bit of a monster in this tournament.
Yeah.
He's been the Jude Bellingham that we know is in there, but we haven't really seen it at Real Madrid this season. And he's been that player that's got back to timing his runs brilliantly into the box. Not just making run after run after run, but hitting the right spot at the right time to get on the edge. And people think that's easy, but it's not. It's not. It's about running off your marker. It's about running off where Kane's movement is, or whoever it is, and getting in at the right time, making sure you're onside, and coming in there at pace, which he has done. He's been absolutely brilliant. But yeah, and I think Tuchel has got the best out of him. But it seems tonight, Daniel, that there's a little,
We've talked and we've kind of lauded Thomas Tuchel. He's pressed the right buttons with Jude Bellingham to get the best out of him, kind of treat him mean, keep him keen. But interesting exchange came after the game. This is what Thomas Tuchel said about their performance. The result is fantastic. We're in the last tour. It's amazing. But I'm not happy with the performance. The commitment is there, but we made life very, very difficult for ourselves in the way we played, how we played. Sloppy, a lot of technical mistakes, not fast enough, not repetitive enough. We were lucky today. Jude was asked about those comments after the game. He said, yeah, well, whatever. Maybe that means he doesn't know how to play in these kind of conditions against Haaland, Odegaard, Nusa, Sorloth. That's not an easy team to play against. I think we've tried to create a positive environment. We should continue that going into the Final Four. I can't speak highly enough of the lads. Sometimes you have to win dirty, and we did that again tonight. This is what Tuchel said about Bellingham's comment. No one disputed that, but I'm also a football coach, and we can play better. It wasn't a high-level game. We have better games in general. A lot of momentum swings for both teams.
Do you know what I don't get is already Tuchel what he's doing that, because he's done that last time as well. And you're going through, so you can say that your team, you weren't sometimes not happy. Stones made a mistake and Haaland almost scored. You had sometimes, mistakes done by Madueke or some others that we have seen. But I don't understand why Jude has to respond to what the coach said.
Well, he was asked, to be fair.
Yeah, but don't answer.
He was asked.
No, I don't answer.
They've just played a hell of a game in Mexico, just played a hell of a game in Miami.
Yeah, but
not a hell of a game in playing well.
There is a hierarchy. I'm sorry. If the coach says whatever he wants, you shut up. You shut up and you don't comment what your coach has to say. I'm sorry. It never works like that. And maybe he feels he's in a very strong position, and I think he is. But it could have been somebody else. He's on the bench in the next game. Because you don't have to comment what your coach is saying. Maybe he's saying stupid things, but you keep it for yourself and you go with the guys and you are in the dressing room and say, what the hell is saying, the guy? But you don't comment publicly what your coach has said.
I'm betwixt and between. He's having an amazing tournament. He's just come off the field. I believe it was like a flash interview.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
And he'll be as knackered as anybody, and he's barked at the comments.
Well, the coach has to speak first.
Well, I said
then they have to find Jude Bellingham to talk, so he had sometimes to take a shower and rest.
But I said we did a little show after the England game, and I said at the time, I didn't quite understand Tuchel. Tuchel made all the negative comments before the World Cup, and it's got the desired effect from Jude Bellingham and one or two others. Why go back there? Why go back there when your players are fighting tooth and nail for you? Yeah, he is right in a sense. They haven't played as well as we know they can, and they have been a bit sloppy. But they're in the semi-final of a World Cup. They're winning. And to your point, he could also have these comments behind closed doors with the players. And he could be saying to the English press, these lads are fighting tooth and nail. It's like getting blood out. I can't ask for any more from them. They've been absolutely brilliant. Can we play better? Yeah, we can play better, and I think we will. And then when he goes behind the scenes, he says, listen, lads, this is great, but we need to improve.
Yeah, but you see, Jules was saying that it was very disappointing with England, so you cannot lie. But what he can show is, well, maybe what he wants to show to the press is that he's ambitious, that he wants the team to do better. That's why he's saying we didn't have a good performance. I'm not happy with the performance. Yes, you're right. On the close, I say, guys, I'm saying stuff to the press. Don't listen to it. Because what I'm going to say, I'm very happy with your performance. We should have done better. We're a little bit sloppy, but we have to do better. But I'm going to say something for the press, and they're going to be happy with that.
Do you know what, though? We're talking about it. But It really doesn't matter.
It's not a big deal in that dressing room.
I disagree. I disagree.
Well, I'll tell you why, Jules. At the end of the day, everyone's judged by what happens on the field.
Mm-hmm.
And if England win the semi-final, nobody will give a stuff, right, about these comments, unless they rear its head again. So at the end of all this, it's a kind of school ground tit for tat. Everyone's job and performance is going to boil down to how far England go in this tournament and how they go about
it. Everybody agreed to say that Tuchel is saved for the rest of for after the World Cup. He would have lost that game. He would have been out. I think maybe the FA will have.
Do you think this will have an effect between? Do you think this will affect performance?
With the little spat between them two?
Yeah.
I don't think it's a good look. I have to say. And we said before, Tuchel is a bit too honest at times. Since day one, he's been too open, too honest. Some of the comments that he made, whether it's press conference interviews, the famous one on Bellingham and how Tuchel's mum, look at him, etc. But even after that, I think he's been a bit too honest. It's a bad look for your best player to answer your head coach in that way, saying whatever. He doesn't.
That's a whatever.
For me, the most serious one for me is when he says, he doesn't know Tuchel. He's never played at this level. Yeah. He doesn't know what it is to be on the pitch like this in a World Cup game.
Maybe that's a reflection of the comments Tuchel made several months ago that
about his mum
he now feels that he's in a position that he can have a jibe back.
For me, this shows there's something still there. And you know what, to be fair, we never really thought it was all clean and we're best friends and let's go on holidays together if you're Tuchel and Bellingham. But for me, these shows, and the face that, because we obviously showed you the quotes, the face of Bellingham, when asked the question, he goes, whatever, like with disdain for Tuchel and Tuchel's comment. And you're right, tomorrow they will move on, they will prepare for the Argentina game. It's on Wednesday, so it's very, very quick now. But it's not a good look.
Can I go to Aid? Because I just want to get Aid's view on this, please.
Yeah, I saw that post-game interview. It was Gabriel Clark from ITV, wasn't it? And, Tuchel, as you guys have so eloquently highlighted, is always straight to the point, isn't he? Almost to the point of being jarring sometimes, certainly to English sensibilities, maybe not to Germans. But honestly, I didn't have a problem. This is an elite-level coach trying to raise the bar for his team. He's just got his team to only their third World Cup semi-final in 60 years. But he knows they have to be better if they're going to go further to get past Argentina and then possibly France or Spain. They have to be better, and he knows it, and he knows they were perhaps a little bit lucky to win tonight. And that's all it was. He didn't ever question their mentality or commitment, and he went out of his way to say that. And in terms of Jude, I think he was just sticking up for his teammates, saying, hey, that was hard work out there. He was also giving credit to Norway. And he went through 4 or 5, 6 different Norway players saying, these are really good players. We had to dig very deep to win. So I think it's a bit of a storm in a keeper. And a lot of it came about because of Gabriel Clark's sort of questioning to Jude, saying, well, did you hear what Thomas Tuchel said?
Yeah.
So it's the right question,
I think it'll be forgotten about quickly.
Yeah, is this kind of basic psychology? Yeah. We've all had coaches who you could score a hat-trick and they're like, well, why didn't you score 4?
There's a school of thought in England, and I don't know if it's true or not, the media sometimes are out to destroy the English national team. The back pages may write about how great this is, and the front pages will make a headline that's going the opposite way to create a storm. And England have used that, I think, and sometimes as an excuse of why they haven't got over the line, that there's this media agenda against some of these players or for stories, and it affects the team. Other countries seem to manage pretty all right with similar things.
This isn't a media agenda. This is 2 of your big stars answering questions.
Yes, but what happens then sometimes is it goes from the back pages or the front pages to the tabloids, and it's all blown up. And before you know it, we're talking only about that.
These are experienced players and managers who know that. So why give us the fodder? Why give us something to talk about? Why come out and say that?
Well, you may have noticed doing this show that sometimes people can't help saying things.
Yeah, I know. What's interesting, the relationship between these two...
because he's talking about me, but I'm the only one to say that he shouldn't go public.
I'm not. Don't make this about you.
Yeah, because he's talking about...
What's interesting is that these 2 characters, you can't imagine either giving any way in this.
Yeah, and in a way...
But as Craig said, like going forward, does this matter?
He's carrying Tuchel at the moment.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I don't know where this team will be without Jude in this, even more than Kane in this World Cup. that means where Tuchel would be. It's hard to believe that there was a time where there was a debate about Jude's position within this team and even within this squad that was justified for us to have, because Tuchel himself had question mark over, do I take him or not? Do I start him or not? Now, obviously, he's been outstanding. There's no doubt. This is a wonderful graphic of his impact on a...
It's not bad names on that graphic,
It's incredible, really, when you think about it. But the talent was never the problem. The problem was the attitude at time. And I think Tuchel had issues with Jude's attitude.
When you say he's honest, was he wrong to any comment that he made?
Well, was either person wrong?
But he was no.
Was it either person?
Well, no. I'm sorry, but from the beginning, Tuchel on his comment on Jude Bellingham was right all the time. All the time, when he says is the way he's thinking, where the way he's working, is not the right way. He's a great player, but it's not the right way. It made him reacted, being the Jude Bellingham that we have known some years ago and being so effective and so good. But what he says about the game is not wrong. Would you say that it was? So why do you?
Jude was right as well, though.
No, Jude hasn't.
He was right. Like both people have made correct statements, haven't they?
The comment of Jude Bellingham is to go against Tuchel comment, where Tuchel comment is absolutely right. So why do you want to go against your coach comment?
Yeah, but
that's what I don't get.
What I would say, look, Jude Bellingham may or may not care about what happens in terms of perception.
Yeah, maybe.
But it wasn't only Thomas Tuchel, it was the England fans, some of them who were looking at Bellingham and saying, do you care enough about playing for England, right? He has built up so much goodwill during this World Cup. He's basically got it all back.
And some.
Right? He's got it all back. He's the top man at the moment, as Joe said, not Harry Kane. He is the go-to guy. He's the saviour. He's why they're in the semi-final. If Jude Bellingham wants to keep that goodwill, and again it goes back to, I don't know if he's bothered. If he wants to keep that goodwill and run with it, it's maybe best that he lets this go now, says a little bit more and continues doing what he's doing on the field. Because he can destroy that perception of what he's done. That will become a distant memory if they go out and he keeps chipping away about the manager and vice versa. All right, one game, maybe brush it off. But if it continues and they go out, all that goodwill from what he's done, can he get swept all the way out again?
It'll make for